Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope we are live. Just give me a quick confirmation, guys, if you can see me and hear me very clearly. Yes, creations, we have started. Just give me a quick confirmation, guys, if you can hear me very clearly and also see me. And of course, my screen is also visible to you. Hi, Harsh. Hi, Abhishek. Hi, Pranav. Great to see you all again. Good evening, Benjamin. Right? So, guys, a very good evening and welcome you all to another React JS session. Right? So, next 5 days, you guys are going to basically spend learning about what is React and how you can get started with React and how you can build amazing projects, how you can ideate on those, and how you can get started with building stuff in React. Right? So your trainer, of course, Saurabh Gupta is right here. I'll call him in a bit. But before that, as we all know the drill, we're going to learn about how, as a student, what you guys have to follow, right? So that to make sure that you're getting the certificates and everything, right? So the first step, the very first and foremost step is to go to the website, or all you can do is just scroll down. Just scroll down. I'll just take this screen here for a bit, right? So just scroll down and open the description, and any link, like all the links are same, just click on this link and that should take you to the enrollment page. If you have not enrolled in the course before, first go and enroll yourself in the course. That is the very first mandatory step that you have to follow, right? So that you can get the emails and WhatsApp notifications, and you can join the WhatsApp communities where we give updates about the course, right? So once you're done, once you log in and everything, right? I'm just going to log in. Let me just, I hope I remember my password. Okay, so once I'm logged in, right, it is just going to ask me that would you like to enroll? So I'm going to say yes, and it will take some time and do all the backend stuff and get you enrolled. Yeah, I'm going to clarify how you get the certificate. So make sure that you are attending this and making sure that all the doubts are clear right away. Let me just refresh. Right, so once you have enrolled, right, so now what is going to happen is you can basically see your schedule right here, right? If you see, right, today is the day one, and you can see the mark attendance button right here. Since the lecture is live, you have to go here and mark your attendance, correct? You can also use this page to navigate to the YouTube page where the session has been happening. And similarly, for the next 5 upcoming days, you can come to this page and basically see your videos or the recordings, or where you can join, right? The timings are same, 6:30 from today till Friday, right? And for joining our Telegram group, you can use this button. And similarly, for WhatsApp communities, you can use the WhatsApp button. If you want to refer to your friends and earn some coins and swags, you can just head over to the refer and earn button, copy this link and share with your friends, right? The next thing that you can do, important thing, that is progress tracking, right? So now this is linked to your certificates. Okay, this progress tracker is linked to your certificates. So what if you just read it very carefully, right, your progress is tracked on two things: assignments and attendance. Assignments optionally if given by the trainer, attendance very important, right? And there are two parameters that are very important for you to get the certificates. The first is that the program should be over. So basically you will be only able to generate the certificates post 8th December, like post Friday 6:30, or like when the session ends, right, around 8. That is when you'll be able to, you can say, download the certificates. And of course you should have attended more than 3 lectures so that the progress becomes more than 50, right? So once you do that, there will be a button that would be available here. If I have to just go and show you how it looks like, yeah, I have to head over to my programs, and yes, since I have completed this course, if you see, right, this is how the certificate option would be available here, where I can go and download my certificate. I hope this is very clear to everyone. Just give me a quick yes. This workshop is going to be 1.5 hours every day. Please try on the laptop. Please try on the laptop. Avoid using mobile for the sessions, right? If I have to show you, I hope there's generate. Okay, I've already generated this. Let me check if there is any. Okay, this is expired. I hope you get the idea, right? 50% or more progress and the class should be over. That is when you will be able to download the certificate, right? So now let me check if I can see any, and see there is, yeah, one more thing. If you go again into this description, right, there is one link called as the documentation, right? I'm just going to explain you that and I head over to giving the session to Saurabh, right? So just head over this documentation. I am just going to open this link for you guys. Now this documentation is going to be your go-to place for everything related to this course. All the notes or the interview questions or whatever is being discussed or taught is available in this, you can say, the whole documentation. I hope there is some, yeah, it is open, right? So I'm just going to help you with the direct link in case the link that you're trying to reach is not loading because of everyone trying to access at the same time, right? What I'll do is I'll just copy paste the direct link for you guys in the chat. Just give me a sec, and yeah, please bookmark it, save it somewhere, or just send it to yourself on WhatsApp or email so that it is always handy for you guys. So I'm just going to spam it a bit. Yeah, all-in-one documentation is there already, but I'm going to give it a direct link because I think a lot of you guys are going to face an issue since everyone is using it. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just trying to copy the original link. Just give me a sec. Yeah, this is the original link. I have copy pasted it, and I'll also go and update it in the description if you guys want to use it. Yeah, let's go and check this. I'm just going to reload this page. Okay, and I'm just going to open this. I'm just going to open this. If you see, right, there is a new link that has been that is available. You can just open this and that should take you to this page. Okay, so now this has all the notes and everything. Okay, just give me a sec, guys. Just give me a sec. I'm just fixing the link. There is some issue with the link. Stay with me for a minute. Everyone is trying to use it at the same time. Just give me a minute and I'll fix this for you. Right, so meanwhile I'm fixing, can you just help me understand how many of you guys are from programming background or have done any kind of programming before? Any kind of, it can be any language, need not be necessary that it should be related to web or something, any language. How many of you guys know programming? Come on guys, how many of you guys know programming? This is the new link. I'm just spamming it in the chat. Okay, and I'm also updating it. Right, okay, so again the same step we're going to do. We're going to do and refresh. Okay, and if you can see, right, the link is now available here. Now let me explain this. Okay, this will land somewhere right here. Now see, whatever steps that I've mentioned, right, regarding enrolling yourself and getting certificate and everything is right here. You can see it step by step with proper screenshots and everything in case you get stuck on the onboarding and offboarding process. Second thing is, whatever things that are going to be covered in this whole 5 days are available here, right from installation of Node.js, npm packages and everything, right, and how to build your first app till using everything that is going to be covered, right, is available here. So you can always go and see the notes, copy a few of the syntax wherever required and use that in the code, right? So now the last important part that we have is the interview question. So of course, after those sessions, right, a lot of you guys might want to appear for interview of web developer, front end or some roles, right? So of course you can check out the interview question. So every section, every subtopic will have around 10 questions available, right? So you can of course go and check that. I hope everything is clear, and if anything is not clear, always come back and watch the recording, and of course keep this document handy. That is something I'm telling to you again and again, right? So with that, let me call Saurabh into the frame. So hi Saurabh, so he's right here. Okay, he's not gone anywhere. Just let me just take the screen back to where it was. Yeah, I hope you guys, okay, I messed up with some windows. Just give me a sec. No, I'm just trying to get it somewhere else. So meanwhile, you can do hi, hello. He's just right here. Just. I hope he is visible to you guys. Let me just. Yeah. So I'll just hand it over to Saurabh. So he's your trainer, and now I'll just go in the back screen.
Okay. Thank you, Prasad. Okay, then let me see. Okay. Okay. Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Am I audible? Am I visible? Can you guys please confirm that once? Hi, Ganesh. How are you, buddy? Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Kritika. Good evening, MD, Shashank. How are you all? Good evening, Shohib, Vanshika, Komalpreet. Good evening, guys. Okay, Akhilesh is also here. Utpal is also here. Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. How are you all? First, tell me, how are you all? Hello, sir. Big fun. Thank you so much, others. Good evening, buddy. Good evening and welcome to the stream. Good evening, Amesh, Shantanu, Rohan. Good evening, guys. Okay. So as Prasad has discussed almost everything that you guys need to know before starting this course. So I'm going to be taking the whole coding part of this. Okay. So I hope now you're cleared with all the documentation stuff. And guys, yes, just to give you some info, please don't forget to mark your attendance every day. Okay. And certificate will be generated only if you complete the course. So you will be able to generate certificates only after the end of the course. So till that time, don't worry about the certificates. Okay. Our main focus should be learning and understanding everything about React for the next 5 days, and only after completion of 5 days you'll be able to generate the certificate. So don't worry about that as of now. I know JS, C, Java, Node Express. That's amazing. That is amazing, Lavanya. That is amazing. Really amazing. That's really good. I am good. I'm good. Hi, Kashwat. Thank you so much, buddy. Sir, will you teach next framework too? Mostly, yeah. If we schedule it, definitely I'll be teaching that. Don't worry about that. And let me just fix the mic for a second. Yeah. Okay. So good evening, guys. Good evening, and let's start with something called as React. Now, before we move ahead, before we actually start with React, let me just confirm a few things from you guys. Okay. So how many guys from you are actually, know something like HTML, CSS or JavaScript? Let's see. How many of you guys know something, maybe either HTML or CSS or JavaScript or all three? Let me just see how many of you will be knowing this. Will this be full English? Yes, David. Yeah, it will be full English. I know JS, HTML and CSS. Okay, that's great. That's great. Let me see, guys. Come on. How many of you know a little bit of HTML, CSS and JavaScript? Let's see. Okay, yes, I know me. I know CSS, HTML and CSS only. Okay, I can see all of your. Okay, that's great. So I can see all of you almost know about HTML, CSS and JS. So that's amazing, guys. Because if I have to say, the prerequisite for this course is at least you should know a little bit of HTML, a little bit of CSS and a little bit of JavaScript. But again, if you don't know any one of this or any of this, it's still okay because you can attend today's session. But I would suggest you to at least go ahead and learn a little bit of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Okay, so if you know HTML and CSS, amazing, you can still continue. If you only know HTML, amazing, you can still continue. But I would really suggest you, after today's session, just go ahead tonight or tomorrow morning, just go ahead before the second session, learn a little bit about HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Because this course requires that, because we're going to be starting with React, which is simply a JavaScript library. That means you should know a little bit of JavaScript before starting with React. It's a prerequisite. It's a very important thing to know. So if you know it, amazing. If you don't know, you don't have to go anywhere. Learn today's session, understand today's session, and then go back and learn a little bit of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. A lot of videos are available on YouTube and even on our channel. You can watch them too. So yeah, let's go and let's start. And also guys, before we start, please don't forget to like the session, everyone. Come on then. I hope you're excited. Let's go and let's start by understanding everything about React. Okay. So let me quickly open a Jamboard. Okay. Where we'll be understanding everything about React. And then we'll move ahead in basically installing the stuff and everything. Okay, so no issues, guys. And guys, again, I am going to be starting React from scratch. So don't worry about anything. Okay, don't worry about anything. Okay, so let's go, everyone. Let's go. So what exactly is React? Let's see how many of you know this. So guys, according to you, how many of you know what exactly is React? Can you please tell me? Till that time, I'll just open some kind of a notepad, basically. So notepad. Let's see if we can get an online notepad somewhere. Okay, yeah. So it is here, which I normally use a lot of time in MacBooks. So yeah, come on guys. Let's see how many of you can answer. What exactly is React according to you? I just want to know how many of you know a little bit about React. Okay, I can see JavaScript library. It's a framework. Why React? Why React? It's a very important library, right? Because even if you want to learn Next or Remix or something like that in future, you should know React, right? And right now it is one of the most famous libraries, correct? Front-end library, library of JS, framework of JS, amazing. React is a framework, JS lib. Okay, a lot of correct answers and a little bit of, okay, fine. If we can also call it a framework, that's also not a bad thing, but it's not exactly a framework. Sir, your screen is blurry. Okay, I would suggest to just check the internet connection once, buddy, because I'm also watching it on YouTube and it's completely fine. So I'm really sorry if it is blurry, but just confirm once. Just check your internet connection once, or maybe, just the YouTube quality once. You can increase the quality. Shivani, just check it once. Created single page application. What projects are we going to create? I think we are going to create a news app at the end, a real live news app. That is what I'm planning. I don't know. It's okay. It's okay, aspirants. It's okay, buddy. Okay. So guys, I have you guys were amazing. A lot of correct answers were there in this. So that is really amazing. So now let's go and let's discuss what exactly is this React. Okay. So if I have to just give you a simple definition, React is nothing but a JavaScript library. Simple. Now guys, don't mind my spelling mistakes if I make any. So React is simply a JavaScript library which is used to make user, or you can say interactive user interfaces. That's all. That's all React is simply, guys. React is simply a JavaScript library which is basically used to make interactive user interfaces. Now, for all the people who are coming from Scratch background, who only know HTML, CSS and JavaScript, you might be knowing that we normally, now if we don't have something called as React, or let's say you have never learned React, okay? So the normal concept is we use HTML to create a web page, correct? We use HTML to create web page and put contents on it like image, audio, video, right? All that text, links. Then we use CSS to style it, correct everyone? That's what we do right now. Then we use CSS to style it, to arrange our elements here and there. And then we go ahead and we use JavaScript to make our elements interactive, where we can click or move something or double click or scroll, where we can do animations using JavaScript, right? We can, call APIs using JavaScript, fetch that data. We can generate live elements using JavaScript. So normally we use HTML, CSS and JavaScript to make our interactive user interface, right? So whenever we want to make a website, our front end is always made using HTML, CSS and JavaScript, right? This is what we normally do. HTML to create content, right? Create content. We can say create content. Then we use CSS to simply style content. And then we use JavaScript to do the main thing, that is basically generate live content, or something like, let's say, dynamic content, you can say. So generate dynamic content based on data coming from internet or something like that, and also perform some kind of animations and events, right? So these are the main things that we do using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. We use HTML, CSS, JavaScript to create web pages which are interactive. Now React is almost exactly the same. It is a JavaScript library. That means it is simply some code or collection of code or files written by someone else, which we can use to do the exact same thing that we do using HTML, CSS, JavaScript. But the best part is a lot of functionalities and modularization has been already done. We just have to install that library in our project and we don't have to start everything from scratch. Now see, let me give you an idea. Normally what we do, if we want to start a new project, and if I'm starting it using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, what I have to do, guys? I have to start with by creating folders, right? Writing proper HTML code, writing proper CSS code, writing proper JavaScript code, then mixing it all together to make a proper web page. In that case, what happens is, when you're writing everything from scratch, a lot of times you have seen that in your web page, you might want to use something again and again, multiple times, right? So in that case, you write that code again and again, multiple times. Then you want to call, some kind of internet to get data. And then you want to put that data in your HTML page. So we use JavaScript to again generate DOM elements. Then, right, we use get element by ID and all that stuff. So we need to write a lot of code to put all that in your HTML page and generate dynamic content. So if you have done it using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you know how tough it gets, how tricky it gets. I'm not saying it's impossible, because I also love doing things with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but that's what happens. So what React is React is a JavaScript library which is created by Meta, which was initially Facebook. Okay, they created that library to help you to lessen the code and make your applications faster. But React still uses HTML, CSS, JS only. So internally, it is still HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but someone has already written a lot of code for you, which you can directly use to start building your dynamic user interfaces. But you don't have to write everything from scratch like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You are going to be using all the functions, all the features provided by this library. So because guys, the library is what? Library is simply collection of functionalities. So React also, it's a library written in JavaScript, written in a language called as JavaScript. You simply have to install it and you have to start using all the functionalities given by that particular library, which will help you to create web pages, which will help you to put content, which will help you to style content and also generate dynamic elements. But you won't be doing everything from scratch. And you will see, when you code, you will see the performance of your web page will be much faster because you will be working with the React way. Since you're using a library, you will be following their ways of doing things. Secondly, it will provide you reusability. So you don't have to write code again and again. And don't worry, I'll be showing you all that stuff. So guys, that's the base idea. So instead of React, you can still use your basic idea. But by using React, your development time can be faster. Your application will be faster because you're following their good ways of creating the application. You'll be writing less code and your code will be much more readable and understandable. Right? So that's the main thing. So that means overall, your performance. So if I have to mention overall, you can say increased performance, right? Increased performance. Then you can say decreased lines of code and faster development. These are the few things that you get. And I think any developer wants that, right? Increased application performance, decreased lines of code, less lines of code, more maintainable and readable code, and faster development. Is that clear, guys? So that is what is React. JS or React, which is good for freshers. I think first you have to learn JS. Without JS, you can't learn React. Because JS is a library React is a library which is made in JS only. So you have to learn JS first to understand React. So guys, understood the whole idea? What exactly is React? I have just given you a definition. Don't worry, I have not told you anything about it because I'm going to be discussing that in some time. But just to give you an idea, it is simply a JavaScript library which is used to make user interfaces. That's it. The exact same thing that you did using normal HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but in a much more better way. Because internally, React is still using HTML, CSS, JavaScript only. And you'll be also doing some part of it. But a lot of things will be already done for you. The way you'll be collaborating your elements here and there will be much more easier. The way of putting elements together will be much more easier. The way of integrating data with HTML elements will be much more easier. So that's what the case is. Okay. So all good, guys. How much JS is enough? Basic JS, like, basic programming, loops, conditions, arrays, that should be there. And I think you should be knowing about a little bit about DOM manipulation, like get element by ID, then how does you put data from JavaScript to HTML, all that basic stuff. So basic DOM manipulation and basic programming JavaScript should be enough. Should be errors. Yes. And yeah, guys, ultimately, when you write less code, you're less error prone. And when you're following some rules and regulations provided by a particular library, you'll be doing less errors, right? So yeah, that's it. Yeah, definitely, Akhilesh, we'll be discussing. Definitely. Okay, so guys, are we ready, everyone? So got the idea? So whenever someone asks you, simply say React is a JavaScript library which is used to make interactive user interfaces. That's all. So basically, sometimes you can also say it is a front-end app development library. That's what you can say because you're only building front-end using React. You're only building front end using React. It's a front end app development library. You're only building front end, not the back end. But yeah, in future, you can integrate Next with React to also make back end stuff. We can make full stack apps then after that. But before that, you still have to learn React. Okay. So it's a front end app development library. It only helps you to develop the front end, not the back end, not APIs or something like that. But in future, you can, include Next, include other frameworks to do all this stuff. But that is the secondary part. Right now, it is a front end app development library. And the main competitors, if you want to know, you also have something called as Angular in the market. Right? You might have heard of it. You also have something called as Vue in the market. Then you also have something called as Svelte. These are some of the React competitors. These are also exactly same what React is. They are also front-end app development libraries. But yeah, some of them are frameworks. Like Angular is a framework because it is, bigger than React. Bigger in the size. When you install React, you only are installing a library. You do all the project setup yourself. In Angular, you get the whole project setup by default. That's why we call Angular as framework. But it is still a front-end app development framework. So these are some of the, competitors of React. But as of now, I think in the market, React is the most famous and the most asked for library. So yeah, that's why we're learning it. So let's go. Okay. Form handling via hooks and callback. Yes, yes. And yeah, guys, I think someone asked me, right, are we going to be learning hooks and all that stuff? Yes, we are going to be learning hooks. Yes, as well. So now, guys, let's go and let's talk a little more about React. So as I have already mentioned, it is simply, I have the definition here, okay? It is simply a JavaScript library which is used to make interactive user interfaces. So now let's try to understand how React works and how it makes your life easier. So guys, React is a component-based development library, okay? React is a component-based development library. Now, if we understand components, then all the things will be very clear in future. So React is a component-based development library. So now we have to understand what exactly is a component and what is component-based development. Okay. So now guys, see, to understand this, let's open a site. Okay. Let's open a site. One of the most famous that we always open is Flipkart. Okay. Something like this. So let's open something like Flipkart. Now, if I tell you to code this page using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, what will be our normal approach? We'll create one HTML page. We'll create one CSS page, right? And we'll start by coding the header first. Then we'll code this area. Then we'll code this area. So in a single HTML page, we'll start coding everything. Correct? We'll code the header part. Then we'll code this, let's say category part. Then banner part. Then, best of electronics part. Then best of, beauty, food, toys part. So we'll code everything in a single HTML page. And then we'll have a CSS page where we'll be writing the CSS of all the HTML that we are creating. And then we might have a JS page in which we'll write the logic of, this particular slider or, this hover effect that we are getting here. We might use JavaScript to do all this stuff. So that's what we'll do. We'll create a single HTML page in which all the things will be there. Everything will be coding in a single page. And if you see this thing properly, you can see a lot of things in here look very similar. Like for example, this whole box, this whole best of electronic box and this beauty, food, toys box, they look exactly same. Look at this, guys. See this box, best of electronics. This whole box and this beauty, food, toys box is exactly same. Or for a second view, see this, a single product, image, text, price, image, text, price, image, text, price. That means everything is looking exactly similar. But if we are doing it in HTML, we might be coding everything again and again. That's what we do, right? That's what we do in HTML. We code everything again and again. And to solve it, then we might use JavaScript. But when you are using JavaScript, you have to perform some tricky DOM manipulation code to generate these elements using some real-time data. Right? That means a lot of coding needs to be done. Secondly, it will be all in your single HTML page. That's the issue. So handling all these things together at one place becomes very, very tough. Secondly, in future, if you scroll down, some elements are generated when you scroll. That is also very tough using your normal JS. Right? That is why we have React. React is a component-based library. So what exactly is the component idea here? Let's try to understand that. So what React says is, whenever you want to develop a web page, don't develop it like a single HTML file normally. You don't do it. What you have to do is, you divide your web page into components. A component is simply, guys, you can say a component in React is nothing but a small piece of UI or small piece of your web page. Like simply you can say something like, in this case, header. Like I can consider header as a component. Then I can consider this box as a component. Then I can consider this banner as a component. So everything in this page can be considered as a component. And then what React says is, create all the components. Okay, let me go on the home page again. Create all these components separately. Don't code all of them inside one single page. Create all of them separately. Create your header component separately. Create your banner component separately. Create your best of electronic component separately. Create your beauty food toys component separately. So React says, divide your whole web page into multiple components and create them separately. And then whenever you need them, fit them like puzzle pieces to create one single web page. That's what the idea is. So create all of the things separately. So now see the logic is. So if we are doing it, what we'll be doing is something like this. So we'll be creating, let's give you an idea. We'll be creating the header component separately, right? Then we'll be creating, so if I have to mention it, so this is my header component. Let's say this is my header component. Right? Guys, don't mind my drawings here, please. Hopefully, please don't mind my drawings. So let's say this is my header component. I have created it separately, right? Then let's say this is my banner component somewhere. So banner component, you have to create it separately again. So basically you're going to be creating all your components separately. So let's say banner component, then let's say, let me call this as category, best of electronics, this whole box as a category component or a product component because it is a collection of products. So let's say that is my product component. So I'm going to create my products component separately. And now when you want to build a web page, go on a single page and just put your components piece as one. So put your header here, then put your banner after it, which you have created separately, and then put your products after it. So basically you'll be getting this page where you'll be having a header, a banner, and then one product. Now if you see below here, you're again having exactly same component, but with different data. So you're again having an exact same component, which looks exactly same. So what you can do now is you can reuse the products component that you have created again, but you can change the data. React will give you a way for that. Don't worry. You can change the data, but you can use the exact same component that you have already created. And now if you see here, you can see it has been, repeated around 4 to 5 times in this whole web page. See that, guys? You can see, right? The whole product component is being repeated around 4 to 5 times. See here also, books, toys, and more. Products component, pick your styles. Product component, top deals on TV. Same. See, they have the exact same style and structure. So you can just reuse the same component again and again. You don't have to write it again and again. That's the whole idea. That is how you save your time. Is that clear to everyone? Getting the idea? That is the whole logic. Okay, so that's where React is. That's what React does. So you can reuse this same product component again and again. And not only this, now inside the product component, if you see a single product, it's simply a combination of image, text, and price. Image, text, and price. Image, text, and price. So you can also create a separate component for this product. That means it's your mind. You have to think how smaller you want your component to be. So you can also separately create a product component, a single component called as product, right? And then you can reuse that product component again and again. So in this, you can see in our web page, you can see I'm using the same product component around 100 times. See, so many times I have repeated it. So I can reuse the same product component, which I only create once, but I can use it 100 times. So that I don't have to code it 100 times. I'll code it only once and use it 100 times. That's the whole idea. Is that clear, guys? That's the basic idea. That's what React does. No need to, jumble it up. That's it. That's it. Now, internally, React provides much more things, which we'll be understanding when we go in deep, when we go and start coding. But for now, this is what React is. So React is simply a component-based front-end development library, which helps you to develop your UIs in a much more better way by dividing your web page into components and then you fitting those components as puzzle pieces to create a web page. And not only that, guys, now let's say you want to use that same component in some other web page, you can use it there. So create component once and use it 10 times, 20 times, up to you. Save time in coding. And not only this, guys, a lot of things are there in future as well, which we'll be talking about. So guys, is that cleared everyone? Understood what a component is? That's it. That's what a component is. A part of a UI. And the best part is guys, while you're creating your component, you'll be writing separate HTML, separate CSS and separate JS for it. So every component will have its separate HTML, CSS, JavaScript. That means they are completely independent. By default, components are not dependent on each other. It's you who will decide, do you want to make them dependent or not? So header can have its own HTML, CSS, JS. Banner can have its own HTML, CSS, JS. Products can have its own HTML, CSS, JS. That means if one of the components is doing something wrong or something is happening, the other components won't get affected. Now, if you're building a single page and if you code everything, if some problem happens, everything will get disturbed. Not in this case, because every component is having its own code separately written somewhere. And that's why if something fails, other components will not be hampered. Secondly, because you're fitting them like puzzle pieces, you can remove any component at any time. You can put any component at any time without worrying about, disturbing the whole web page. You might have seen, right? You might have seen if your HTML, if you have ever coded HTML web page, if you have coded around 1,000 lines of code and you make one mistake, the whole web page gets disturbed and then you have to figure out what happened. Or if you remove some code from it, the whole web page again gets disturbed, right? That's what happens normally, right? But if you use React, you can actually put components like puzzle pieces. If you remove any component, nothing happens to other things. If you put any component, so basically it becomes easier to remove and add components. That's what React is. Okay, that's the whole idea. Is that clear, guys? Now, this is one part of React. React is much more. I'll also tell you in future why React is named as React. Don't worry about that as well. But that we'll talk about later on. Let's start with the easy stuff. Okay. So guys, this is what React is. And this is what we are doing in the start. So now we'll be installing a React based project. But before that, we also have to do some setup. So don't worry about that. We'll do that as well. But guys, I hope you got the idea of React. Yes, you can also use Bootstrap. See guys, now normally we're going to be writing normal CSS in React. You can use normal CSS, but in future, I will also show you how to integrate Bootstrap in React. See guys, React is a library. So it's internally already settled up with a lot of things because it's a library created by someone else. We have not created it, right? It's created by someone else. So a lot of things are already settled up in there and we have to follow their approach. Okay, but the secondary thing is we can still integrate other things with React, and that I'll be teaching you, like how to put Bootstrap and all that stuff. Okay, so now guys, what we have to do is we have to go ahead and install a React based project. That means a project setup which will be already having React library installed inside it. Okay, so guys, the first thing that you should now to start learning React or to start developing React based applications, the first thing that you have to do is you have to install Node.js in your computer. Okay, and it's very easy, guys. You just have to go online. Now, why Node.js? Because it's a JavaScript running environment. So first thing that you need, it will basically set up your computer for JavaScript. Secondly, it will provide you with the package manager like npm and npx, which will help you to install projects, install libraries in your computer. And that is what we need. We want to install a React project and in future some extra libraries to do some extra stuff in React. So that is why we need to install Node.js so that we can get those package managers like npm and npx so that we can start installing React project and extra libraries that we need in future. Okay. Can anyone tell me why React? Sham Sundar, we have planned React for now, but in future we are planning for Angular and all that stuff as well. Okay. Hi Vasu, how are you, buddy? Hi, positive. Okay. So now guys, the first simple thing you have to do is, now see guys, there is no use of Node.js here normally because we'll be still using our browser as our running environment, but still we need all those package managers and stuff. Okay, so that's why we need to install Node.js. Is that clear, guys? So simply just go online and search for Node.js download. Okay, and again guys, for everyone who don't know, Node.js is simply a JavaScript runtime. That's all. It is not a framework. It is not a library, just to clear your confusion. So just search for it. You'll get this simple first link, okay, download button, click on that, okay. Now, depending on your OS, Windows, Mac, whatever it is, just download. So if you're using Windows, I will suggest you to install the Windows installer 64-bit. I think for now, everyone might be already having 64-bit computers. And for Mac, you can simply click on this button, Mac OS installer. Just click on this button, it will install, it will directly start the installation for you. It will download an installer, just click on it, copy it into the bin, and that's all. That's all you have to do. Okay, so that's is React.js mandatory to learn React Native? I think yes. If you know, see, understand this, Pradeep. If you already know React.js, then React Native is already 60 to 70% done. Because when you learn React, you're creating web applications. That means you're integrating HTML with it. Correct. But if you go for React Native, then there you have mobile based components. But the concept of React, the logic of how it works, right? The states, the props, all that stuff is exactly same. So yeah, if you learn React.js, React Native is almost done for you. You just have to see what are the extra mobile components that you have to learn. That's all. Okay. So guys, again, just go here and download the LTS. Okay, long-term support one, because the current one might have some bugs or something like that. Just download the long-term support version. Anything is fine. So just download it. And once you install it, once you're done installing it, you just have to, let me open the terminal. Okay, I hope you can see my terminal. Okay, I don't know why it's not coming in the second. Strange, it's very strange. Wait. Yeah, so here we go, guys. Let me see if it zooms. Yeah, it is zooming correctly. Okay. Is Angular similar to React? Yeah, kind of, because Angular is also a component-based framework. So yeah, the idea is same. The way of coding, the way of structuring is different, but the idea is exactly same. Okay. So guys, open your terminal. So once you're done with installing Node.js, to confirm if it is installed or not. So guys, again, simple, just go on that site, download the version according to your PC. Simply install it like a normal game that you have installed in your childhood, right? Just install it like a normal game or a normal application. Double click next to everything. It's fine for now for the basic setup. And just yes, once it is installed, open your terminal and you should be able to run this command. Just run node space -v. That stands for node version. So you're trying to check the node version installed in your PC. Okay, just press enter, and if the version comes up, that means node is properly installed. If it doesn't come up, right, that means first try is restart your PC. And even after restarting it is not there, that means the problem will be either in the path or maybe the installation. So just check it once. But mostly, I think for 99% people, I think for almost everyone, this should be done. Hopefully, there should be no mistake here. Okay. So for most of you, it will be done. If it is not done, try installing it again. Okay. But I think it will be done. For most of you, it will work definitely. So guys, that's it. Node -v. And guys, node is installed for your complete computer. So anywhere you go, open a terminal, this command will work. Anywhere in your computer, this command will work. Now guys, see, when you install Node.js, now let me tell you again, let me tell you that as well. I know a lot of people are all like, they have some kind of confusions with that. So let me tell you, when you install Node.js, what are the things that you get? Let me tell you that. When you install Node.js, the first thing that you get, the most important thing is the JavaScript runtime. That means a running environment for JavaScript. Simple. You get a running environment for JavaScript. That means now you can run JavaScript anywhere in your PC without using any HTML. See, normally what happens, guys, if you want to write JavaScript, you create a HTML page, then you write a script tag in that, and then you run that page on the browser, and then you write JS code. That means to run JavaScript, you always need a browser. And that's fine because browser is the by default running environment for JavaScript. Browser is a by default running environment for JavaScript. But if you want to run JavaScript outside the browser, normally like a general programming language, like Java, like C, like C++, then you need Node.js. So install Node.js in your computer. And what for Windows? Same Craig, same buddy, same. Just go on that site and see from here, Windows installer, 32-bit or 64-bit, depending on your PC. Just install that, download that. Once it is downloaded, just double click. That's all. Double click, next, and that's it. It should be done. And same command will be same. Okay. So guys, if it is installed, you're done. Don't worry. It's done. You have the setup now. You have the node setup. Now let me tell you how to update already installed Node.js. Harshil, for that, you can see the update command, which is available on the documentation of Node, or you can just reinstall it. It will update it. By default, it updates. Harshil, if you install it again, it will update. Don't worry. Okay. Just install it again. Anyone who wants to update their Node.js version in their computer, just reinstall it. It's that simple. Just reinstall. That's all. Okay. Now see guys, everyone please focus here. So when you install Node.js, for all the new people, when you install Node.js, the first thing that you get is a JavaScript runtime, which we don't need right now in our lecture because we'll be still using browser, but it's fine. I'm just telling you what you get when you install Node.js. You get a JS runtime, which will help you to run JavaScript anywhere without depending on browser, without depending on HTML. Second thing that you get is something called as NPM, which is a node package manager. Now, there are lakhs of people in this world who create JavaScript libraries, React being one of them. But React is not only JS library. React is one of the most famous JS libraries. But there are a lot of libraries like bcrypt for encrypting, decrypting text. Then you have JSON Web Token. There are tons for form validations. You have libraries. For creating UIs, you have libraries. There are thousands of people who create thousands of libraries every day related to JavaScript. And some are also created by the official developers. So NPM is a tool which you also get when you install Node.js, which helps you to install, uninstall, and manage those libraries in your project. So let's say you're building a project based on JavaScript, and now you want to do form validation. So you can search online which is the best JS library for form validation. Now there might be multiple people who have created those libraries. If you just go and check the documentation, you like one library, you can use NPM to install that library directly into your project, directly. And if you don't need it, you can also use NPM to uninstall it. So NPM is a tool which helps you to download or install libraries and tools related to JavaScript in your project, in your PC. That's what you can say. And then you also get something called as NPX, which is Node Package Executor, which simply exists. Now, sometimes you know what happens. You use NPM to install a tool, and then you use that tool to do something. Right? So you use NPM to download a tool, and then that tool is downloaded in your PC, and then you use that tool to do something. Now, sometimes you don't want to download a tool and you directly want to use it. So you can use NPX. NPX directly executes the tool or executes the package from the internet without even downloading it in your PC. So if you ever plan to, you don't want to download anything, you just want to use it once, you can use NPX. So NPM is for downloading. NPX is for directly executing any tool that you want without downloading it. Simple idea. That's the difference between NPM and NPX. And Node Package Manager, Node Package Executor. And when you install Node.js, you also get a lot of inbuilt libraries like FS, URL. There are a lot of libraries that you get, HTTP. So when you install Node, you also get a lot of libraries related to JavaScript. These are the official libraries. But you can also download the third-party libraries created by some normal people. Like you can also create a library and launch it online. It's completely fine. But right now, guys, we are not interested in this runtime. We are not interested in this inbuilt libraries. We are only interested in NPM and NPX which will help us to install React library. As I said, that is their job. And then we can start using the things. Okay, everyone, good to go. And also, guys, please don't forget to like the session, everyone. Come on. Let's aim for 450 likes today. Come on, guys. Almost 550 people are watching. Let's aim for 450 to 500 likes for today's session. Let's see how much we can get. Okay, everyone. So let's go and let's use this NPX because now we have installed Node.js. So when you install Node.js, you get all these 4 things. Let's use NPX to install or create a new React-based project. Now, guys, when I see a React-based project, that means you will get a complete project setup, which will internally have React already by default. Okay. So we are not only installing a React library, we are installing a complete React-based project in which some basic setup is done for us so that we don't have to start from scratch, but internally it is having the React library, which will give you all the React features and functionalities. Okay, everyone. So let's go. So now go to whichever folder you want in your computer. So any folder is fine. So let's say for me, I'm going to go in this documents folder. Now, guys, again, you can go in any folder you want. If you're in Windows, C drive, any drive, wherever you want to go there. Just perform a right click. Okay. And I don't know why it's not coming here. Okay, no issues. I just wanted to open a command window here, but I'm not getting that option. So let me create one more folder here. Let's call it as React Essentials. Okay, so this is the folder in which I'll have all my projects. Okay. And in here, okay, why I'm not getting the option of opening the terminal here. Okay, no issues, guys. We can also, navigate to it. It's completely fine. But I should get the option, right? I don't know why I'm not getting an option. And I'm also very new to MacBook, guys, so don't worry. We'll figure it out. It's okay, completely fine. Okay, so this is the folder. Am I doing something wrong here? Where do we get all the options? Strange. Okay, no issues, guys. We can directly navigate to it then. No issues. Let's navigate it from here. So CD to which folder it was? Documents, right? So documents. Now we are here, and then CD to React Essentials. In Windows, guys, you can directly do a right click and open in terminal window. Open a terminal window. That's it. Or secondly, you can just open your command prompt and CD to your folder wherever you want to go. Is that clear, guys? I don't know why it happened. Okay, I'm also very fresh to MacBook, using MacBook, but that's fine. It's okay. We can easily adjust to it. So guys, what I did is I opened my command prompt, and by using CD, I basically navigated to the folder where I wanted to go. So right now, this folder that we have, this React Essentials, is opened in my command prompt. So right now from my command prompt, I am into that particular, folder. It's okay. Okay, fine. Any shortcut is fine. Okay, any shortcut is fine, guys. So you can also just go in your folder. In Windows, it's very easy. Just right click and open in terminal window. That's the option. Or you can open your normal terminal and just CD your way through it. Okay. Now, once you're in that folder through command prompt, now inside this folder, okay, where is it? Wait, let me just check. Inside this particular folder, I want to create a new project, a new React project. So now I'm here already. So now run a command called as npx, then use a tool called as create React app. Now, see guys, if you use npm, so first you have to install this tool, create React app, and then you will create React app. But I don't want to install this tool. That's why simply npx, then space create React app, space the name of the app that you want. So let's say I want to name it as something like first app. Okay, that's it, guys. First app. And name it anything, whatever you want, guys, but name it very sensibly. As this is the first session, that's why simply first app. Yes, any terminal is fine, Shandar. Even your VS Code terminal is fine. But for installing projects, I normally don't use the VS Code terminal. I simply use this one, the basic terminal. And that's it, guys. Now it might take a minute, maybe, depending on the net connection, to download the whole React project. Now see, guys, it has directly started. If you use npm, you have to install this tool first. So npm install create React app, and then you have to create the project. Now, without installing the create React app tool, I'm directly using it from online, from internet, and directly creating my React project. So now, guys, it will take 1 minute, and you can see here. See, it is installing internally. I said I want to create a first app, a React app. Internally, that app is having React, React DOM, React scripts, and CRA template. And don't worry about that. I'm going to be explaining all them to you one by one. Okay, but let it take its minute to install. And you're done, guys. See, the whole React project is created, and now we don't even need this terminal. So you can close it, or let's leave it for some time. And here we go, guys. Our first app folder is here. See that? And see, it is having so many things here. Okay, it is having so many things here. Now let's open this our project, this first app, into VS Code to understand how many things it is already having and what they do. Okay, so guys, please understand, you have not only installed React, you have installed a React based project which will already have some basic setup with the React library internally there. Okay, guys, everyone. And now any code editor is fine, guys, up to you. You can use VS Code, you can use brackets, Atom, PHP Storm, WebStorm, anything is fine. But I would suggest you to use VS Code from my personal side, because I like that code editor. It's very easy to use it. It's very easy to install extensions. So it's very amazing. Okay. So I already have it in my PC. So I'm simply going to open it quickly. So let me simply open VS Code. So you can also open it. Hopefully I have it in my PC. It should be there. Here we go. Wait, don't I have it? I should be having it, VS Code in my PC. Let me see just, guys, once. Where do I have it? Yeah, here we go. So I'm opening it now and let it open. And here we go, guys, it is open. So guys, this is the code editor I'm using for my development. You can use any editor, and let me just take it in this window, second window quickly. And here we go. Now I hope you can see it, guys. So yeah, VS Code, just install it, and initially it will look something like this. So yeah, once you install, it will look something like this. You don't need these basic things here. So you can close this window, close this, and this is the folder that we want. This is the editor that we want to use. Simple. Is that clear, guys? Okay, all set. Errors, you're getting errors in what? Like, is your node installed? React Essentials second app. I'm getting below error 4048 code EPRM. Okay, that means React is unable to create path in your project. NPM error. So guys, is your node installed correctly? Everyone, is your node installed correctly? Like, did you check node-v? Was that working correctly? Akshay, Rohan, everyone, you guys, was your node-v working correctly? Can you please confirm that once? Was your node-v working correctly? Because if your node is installed, then npm should not create any issues for you. Okay. And if you're getting error, guys, I would suggest you to, just go ahead and restart your PC once. Not right now. You can do it at the end. Once the session ends, try it. If also that doesn't work, then let me know. Because normally it should work. Normally it should work, definitely. Okay. But getting error. Okay. Okay. So guys, what I would suggest you is simply do one thing. Let the session end. After the session, restart your PC once. Okay, restart your PC once and then check it once. If it is still not working, then let me know tomorrow and then I'll solve it for you. And I'll keep your errors, these chat error noted. Don't worry, our moderator is noting that. So guys, moderator, can you please note those errors that they have given? So guys, your errors will be noted and I'll be solving that. I'll see why that error is coming, and then tomorrow I'll be giving you the answers. Don't worry about that. NPM error. No entry. This is related to the npm not being able to find a file. Okay. Okay. So guys, please, everyone, I would suggest you to just go ahead after the session, restart your PC once and see if it is working. If it is not working, then don't worry, I'll solve it for you tomorrow. Okay. Is that clear, guys? Everyone? Okay. Don't worry. Okay. Okay, nice. So now guys, once you have ran this command and installed your project successfully, okay, like we have this first app, so you can go in your VS Code and let's simply, yes guys, also yes, while creating your project, please don't name it using uppercase. Put it in lowercase only. Hyphen is allowed, but please don't put it in uppercase. And guys, please restart your PC once after the session and then check your path as well. We have also given the document link where you can see how to install Node.js and a React project completely. You can see that there as well. Okay. Okay. So guys, I think, and once also for all the people who have, if it doesn't work, first try reinstalling Node once. Try reinstalling. Don't do it with me right now because it might, sometimes what happens, you're watching me and then you're suddenly doing it in the limited amount of time. So it might create some issues. You might not be able to follow everything. So I would suggest you to sit afterwards and try it once more. Okay, guys, everyone? Okay? Sure, then let's move ahead now. So please try, and don't worry, guys, I will solve your error. If you do get errors after reinstalling Node once more, please just tell me your errors tomorrow or just put your error in the comment section. I will read the comments. If you get error, try it after the session. If you get errors, put your errors in the comment section. I will read those comments and tomorrow I'll try to solve all that for you. Is that clear, guys? Everyone? Okay? Cool? So don't worry. I'll solve it for you. Okay? If you get any errors while doing anything, just put your errors in the comment of this video and then in the next session, I'll solve it for you. Okay. So now guys, once you have installed VS Code, it's opened like this. Just go ahead on File, then Open Folder. And then just open the folder that you have just created. It is in Documents. So inside Documents, React Essentials and your first app. Please open your project only. Guys, it should be a project. Don't open the parent folder of this or any other thing. Is that clear, guys? Just open your project, because sometimes what happens, people open their parent folder and then they try to run React commands. React command will only work inside a React project. It will not work outside the React project. Please make sure that you do it. Only open this particular project that you have installed. First app, which you created using npx create react app and the app name. You only open that folder, not its parent, not its child. Okay. Open. And now guys, once you open it, hopefully you can see it now. These are all the things that you have got. Is that clear guys? You can see these are all the things that you have got. So you have folder called as node modules, then public, then src, then getignore, then some extra files, and then readme. Now don't worry, I'm going to be explaining about all those files and folders one by one. See guys, right now don't focus on the errors. Okay, because today we won't be doing a lot of code. I'll be showing you some basic things, but not a lot of code. So don't worry, just put your issues in the comment after the session. So try it first. If it doesn't work, put your issues in the comment section, guys. I'll read all those comments and I'll solve it for you. Please trust me in that. Okay, right now I want your complete focus into understanding this, because those errors are temporary. Once they go away, then you will be on this. Don't worry, I'll solve it for you. Okay, so guys, let's go. Okay, so now we have these files and folders. Let's try to understand them from the least important to the most important. So let's start with the least important first. README. It's a simple file which is basically for your Git purposes, where you mention the details about your project and what is going on. Even if you delete this file, it doesn't matter. It is simply a file where all the basic setup is written, like, what command to use to run the program and some description of the other different commands. So guys, it is simply a descriptive file for metadata of your project, like what are the files and folders in your project and how to do stuff. So even if you delete this file, it doesn't matter, but let's keep it. Let's keep it. Okay. And after that, guys, you also have a getignore file. Again, least important as of now. This is important only if you are planning to upload your project on GitHub or Git, right? So getignore is a file where you mention all the files and folders that you don't want to upload on Git when you're committing your project. So here you can see node modules, some extra files are mentioned. These files will never get uploaded on Git. Okay, right now you can't see anything else, but you can only see this folder which is mentioned here, node modules. I'll tell you why, don't worry. But getignore is simply a file where you mention all the files that you want Git to ignore while uploading on GitHub. And if you don't know GitHub, guys, just don't worry about that file right now. To understand getignore, you should know what Git is. And guys, if you don't know Git, let me show you. I will go ahead and simply delete this file. Okay, like you can simply move it to trash, these two files. You don't even need them. So guys, for the people who know Git, you know what these are. For the people who don't know Git, right now you don't have to worry about this. When we learn about GitHub, then you have to know about this. Even if I move them to trash, it doesn't matter. Okay, so see guys, very least important files they were. I have deleted them. Now let's focus on the important files. Okay, first is the package.json. It is, you can say, heart of any JavaScript project. So guys, React is a JavaScript library. That means whatever project you create using React, it is simply a JS project, because at the end the core is JS. So package.json is like a configuration file of any JS project. Not only React, Angular is also a JS library, Vue is also JS library, Svelte is also JS library. So they also have this file called as package.json. Okay, so this file basically keeps track of your project information, like what is your project name, what is the project version. Let me zoom it for you. Sorry. So see, project name, project version, its privacy, and the dependencies which it is using internally. Now see guys, this is a complete React based project. Okay, internally it is using React library. So now you can see it is mentioned in the dependencies section. See, so this project is using React library 18.2.0. So it is using, so that means we don't have to install React separately. It came with the project. Okay, but it's also having React DOM, right? It's also having React scripts, which will help to run React, build React project. Then there is one more library called as Web Vitals, which is not important right now, but these are some libraries which your project is using internally. Okay, then these are some scripts which we will use to run, build, test our project. So this is the command that we'll be using to run our project. So whenever we do something, we can use the start command to run our project. It will start running and we can see the output on the browser. It will start the React server. Then you have a build command which will help to build the React project when you want to deploy it somewhere. Okay, so those are the things. So you don't have to worry about them right now. You can use the test command to, if you want to, test your React project by running it. So those are some commands. Right now, don't worry about them. Okay, right now, please don't worry about all these things, guys, because once we go ahead, we'll start understanding them one by one. Right now, just focus on these two things. This is the base idea of what your project is, project name, project version. This is the list of libraries which your project is using. Now in future, if you install some extra libraries, right now we have only 5-6 libraries, right? In future, when you go ahead and install some extra libraries in your project, they will also get mentioned here. You know why this package.json is important? First of all, it let's say I share this project with you. You can also read this whole file and understand what my project is. What's the name, what's the version, and what are the libraries it is using. If you launch it on a server, the server can also read this file and understand what are the things you're using. Secondly, not only this, if in future, okay, I'll tell you that later, like the third importance. First, guys, this is the configuration file of your project, a metadata of your project, description of everything about your project. Okay. Now then, you also have something called as package lock, which is, you can say, a extended version of package.json, where again you have the info about the your project, but you have the the definition of your dependencies, the information of your dependencies in detail. Like, see, here it was only mentioned that you have a React project, a React library installed. Okay, simple. You have a React library getting used in your project that as a dependency. Guys, why it is called as a dependency? Because you're using it. So your project is dependent on this library. That's why it's called as a dependency. Library dependency doesn't matter. In here, in package lock, you can see that if you go down here and if I search for React, not only it is mentioned that your project is using React, it's also going to be mentioned. Okay, React is mentioned quite a lot of times. So we have to figure out where exactly, that simple React library is mentioned. Okay, let me tell you. Now see, guys, in package lock, in package, you have only 6-7 libraries mentioned. Only 6-7 libraries. In here, you have the complete detail of every library, their path, their version, their integrity, their encryption type, and internally, if they are also using any dependencies. So guys, see, your dependencies are also project. So internally, they might be also using some dependencies. So their dependencies are also mentioned here, right? So on an overview, if you see, you have only 7 dependencies, but internally, these dependencies also use some more dependencies, and they might also use some more dependencies. So everything about them is mentioned in package lock. Everything in detail, their path, their integrity, their dependency that they use, their version, everything is mentioned in detail. Normally, guys, you don't even have to touch this file. So as a developer, normally you won't be touching this file at all. So even if you leave it, it's completely fine. But just wanted to give you the info so that you don't just be like, oh, it's there, I don't know what it is. You should know what it is. So package.json is simply the config file of your project. Package lock, it's like a descriptive file about your project, about every dependency and its dependencies. Is that clear, guys? Everyone understood what package and package lock are? And now, guys, all the dependencies that are mentioned here in package and package lock, which are installed in your project, they all are present in this node modules folder. See, everything is here. So these are all the dependencies which your project is using. See that? All the folders of all the libraries which you're using is present there, so that you can use their functionalities in your project. Okay, you can see that, right? Everything, around 100, 200 libraries are already there. And if you install more, they will be here again. Everything will be placed in the folder called as node modules. Libraries are also called as modules. Okay, so guys, module is simply nothing but collection of functions, and library is nothing but collection of modules. Simple idea. Okay, so all the modules which your project is using are mentioned here. If you search properly, React is also here, React DOM, everything that your project is using is here. Okay, now guys, if you're building a React project and if a project is of around 300 MB, trust me, 90% of the size is taken by this folder, node modules. So if it is of 300 MB, around 290 MB will be the size of node modules. Okay, so the problem is when you share this project with someone, let's say I want to share this project with you. So my actual code is only around 2 MB, but the project size is 300 MB. So if I have to share it to you, or if I have to upload it somewhere, my actual code size is 2 MB, but I'm actually uploading 300 MB. That is the issue. That is why, guys, you have these two files, or specifically package lock. So that when I'm sharing my code or my React project with you, I don't have to share node modules with you. I don't have to share node modules. I will never share node modules. I'll only share public, src, package lock, and package. And then when you get my code, open it in your computer and just run a command npm install. That command will check all the libraries mentioned in package lock and install it for you and create a separate node modules folder. That means I never have to share it with you. For example, let's say this. I go ahead. Okay, someone is saying repeat node. See, fun facts. Node module is simply, see, here in package lock, in package lock and in package, all the dependencies that your project is using are mentioned. This is only mentioned. But where are they actually? They are inside this node modules folder. All the code of those dependencies. See, dependencies are also nothing but libraries, code, which is written by someone else. So they are placed in node modules folder. So node modules is a place where all the libraries and modules stay, which you're using in your project. Okay, simple. So now, guys, even if I, let's say, delete this. So if I have to share it with you, I'll only share these 4 files. So let's say I shared it with you and I didn't share node modules. Let's say I delete it from here. Okay, move to trash. Yes, go away. So now, guys, when I shared it, you got this thing. Simple 2 folders, 2 files. But you need node modules because the description of those libraries is here. But where are the libraries? And without libraries, your project won't work. Because if they are not there, their functionalities will not work. So guys, what you have to do is just simply get this project, open it in terminal. So guys, in VS Code, you have internal terminal. You can open that. And guys, external terminal is also fine. Either you use VS Code terminal or use any normal terminal, command prompt, PowerShell, doesn't matter. Any terminal, just open your project in that terminal. First tab, see, first tab, and just run npm install. That's all. This command will read the package lock and see how many dependencies are mentioned there. And it will install everything for your project inside your project. See, run it. Just wait for some time. Maybe a minute, maybe. And here we go. You can see it has created a node modules folder for you and all the libraries are back. See that, guys? So understood why do we need package lock? Why do we need a file where everything is mentioned? So that when I share the project with you, you can run this command, it will read this package lock and install everything for you. So that is why you need a file where all the libraries your project is using are mentioned. Understood, guys? It's like a list of items. It's like a list of items that your project needs. That's it. So that you share it with someone, they can also read the list of items and install everything that they need. Is that clear, guys? Hopefully. Okay, Rohan is asking, sir, can you please tell the difference between package and package lock? Package is a basic overview of your project. Package lock is a extended description of all the libraries and their libraries. So package lock is it's a file which contains detailed information about all your libraries. Package JSON is simply which contains a very basic idea of what libraries you're using, only the main libraries and the project idea, project name, project version, that's all. Package lock contains all the description of libraries, everything, libraries, everything. Okay. So guys, I hope you're understanding everything because I'm trying to tell you everything in deep. I'm not just starting with React and, just going away with components and everything. I want you guys to understand everything so that in interviews and everywhere, when you go, you should know about each and everything. Okay. Now then, let's go. And let's go to this folder, public. Now guys, it's again very important folder, public. If you open it, you will see a few things here. So the first thing that you see, yes guys, don't worry, I'm going to that. Don't worry. Okay. So now second thing that you have is, so public folder. In public, if you open it, you will first see fabicon.icon file. It's simply a file which is the icon file which you see right here. When you open your web page, you see on top right here, that's a favicon, guys. So when you run your React application, this icon will be displayed on top here. See guys, see that everyone? This is called as a favicon. Okay. Or sometimes it is also used somewhere else. That's all. That's it, guys. That is it. So leave that. It's okay. Favicon. Okay. Then you have the most important file, which is index.html. This is the file that runs as a web page. This is the only HTML file that will run as a web page. Is that clear, guys? So let me give you an idea. See, if we go back to our Jamboard, I told you, right, everyone, that you will be creating header component separately, banner component separately, product separately, all this. Now let me give you a little more idea, okay, how React actually works. So let's say, guys, please focus, everyone. Now this is very important. So please focus. Okay. Now let's say you're creating a web page. Okay. Let's say you're creating a web page. Sorry. So let's go. Let's say you're creating a web page. So, you created header component. You created banner component. I'm showing you how React works. You created a products component and you have also created a product component. Okay. See, guys, let me name them quickly. So you have header, you have banner, you have products, and you have single product. So let's call it as S product, single product. Okay, single product. Now the idea is you have all 4 components that you want to make your complete web page. So what happens is in React, you by default have a HTML page. So this is your HTML page. Let's say this is your index.html. And when you install a React project, you also get a by default component, which you can consider as a main component. So you are going to be creating your own components like header, banner, products, and everything. But you also have an inbuilt component called as app component, which is your main component. Okay, guys, main component. That's the idea. Main component, app component or main component. Now what you have to do is whatever components you create, you have to make sure that directly or indirectly, you have to load them all in app component in whatever sequence you want. So let's say I want header first, then I want banner, then I want products, and inside products, you'll be loading product. So you can also load a component inside a component. So you are loading single product in products, and then you're loading header first, then banner after that. So you have created header first, then banner, and then all the products. And then app component is the component which is loaded in the HTML file. That means at the end, only one component gets loaded in your HTML file. And this is the HTML file which actually opens up in the browser. This is the file. So all the components that you create, they should be directly or indirectly, that means either directly or indirectly through some other component, should be loaded in app component, because your app component is loaded in index.html, and that is the only file which runs on the browser. Is that clear, guys? That's how React works. That is why the application that you create using React, that is called as a single page application. Not because it is done in, you only see one page. No, you can create an effect of multiple page. But guys, React only uses only one HTML file. That is the reason it is called as a single page application. Not because you see only one web page. In React, you can make that idea that you have multiple web pages. Right? You can click on a link and open a new page. It will give you an effect of new page. You can have multiple pages. You can give an effect of multiple pages. So technically, that's not meaning the single page application. Single page application means you only have one HTML file which runs on the browser. That is the only single page that runs. That's why the applications that you create using React are called as single page applications. Only one HTML file. And this is that. This file is that one which loads on the browser. And if you read it, see, it's having nothing. It's having some basic idea, basic header, head, meta, link, and all that stuff. And the only thing that is very important here is this div. See, you have a div with ID root. Remember this. Don't forget this div. Is that clear, guys? Everyone, are we understanding everything till now? Please confirm that. Did you get this whole idea, everyone? So you will create a lot of components. All these components should be loaded inside a app component. An app is directly loaded in index.html. It's already configured. You don't have to worry about it. It's already done internally. But I can create more components and put it in app component, and that in the index.html. Is that cleared, guys? Everyone? Okay, and that will run on the browser. That's the base idea, and this is that file, index.html. Okay, and see, it's simply having a div. That's all. Now let me show you how it works. It is, you can see, guys, please remember this. In index.html, you have a div which is having an ID of root. Don't forget this. Okay. Now, guys, again, you have some images here. So you can see you have some React images here. Leave that. So guys, public is having one main file that is index.html. Now in future, you can also use your public folder to put your fonts, images, video, audio that you're using in your site. So it's also a folder where you will keep all your assets. Is that clear, guys? It's also a folder where you keep all your assets. So you can keep your images, fonts, audio, videos here as well. Shyam Sundar is asking use of node modules. Shyam Sundar, node modules is simply a folder where all the libraries are stored. So our project is using React, React DOM, Babel, a lot of libraries internally. All the libraries are stored in node modules. Okay. So your project will be internally using all those libraries for doing stuff and will be also using the libraries. But all those libraries are present in node modules, stored in there. It's a folder where all the libraries are stored. In future, if I install Bootstrap library or some other library, they will also be stored in node modules. Is that clear? That's it. That's it. It's a place where all the libraries are stored. That's it. सर ये वीडियो यहीं पे रहेगा? हाँ, recording यहीं रहेगा. Recording यहीं रहेगा. Okay, now guys, let's go ahead. See, right now you don't have to worry about this robots.txt. It's simply a file when you are launching this site on a browser. So right now, even if you delete this, it doesn't matter. Right now, don't worry about this manifest.json, guys. Again, you don't have to worry about it. It is simply for some kind of structuring. If you want to put some strings and icons for your project. Right now, don't worry about them. Not very important. So guys, right now, I'm simply trying to, leave the unimportant files. We'll come back to them. Don't worry. I'll still explain you what is manifest and what is robots. But right now, leave them. So public folder is the folder where you have your main file, index.html. And in future, your images, audios, videos, fonts will be also stored here that you want to use in your web page. Right now, don't worry about manifest.json. Don't worry about robots.txt. Right now, don't worry. You need them for some structuring and deployment. Even if I delete them, it doesn't matter right now. Don't worry. Okay. Now then, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the most important folder of your project, the most important, guys, which is SRC. This is where you will spend around 99% of your time in development, SRC. Okay, this is the place where you have all the files. So guys, all the components, everything that you will create, everything about that component will be present in SRC only. Prithviraj, don't spam the chat, buddy. Don't worry. See, as I said, Prithviraj, yeah. Please try to reinstall Node.js and run it once again. As I can't see your screen, that's the problem actually. So try installing Node.js again after the session and try it once. If it doesn't work, just put this chat in the comment. Once the live stream ends, just put this chat, just put this particular message that you're putting here in the comment. I'll read it and I'll solve it and I'll let you know tomorrow. Because, right, in live stream, if I can't see the screen, I cannot give you the exact correct answer, right? So please put this whole error in the comment after the live stream ends. Okay, buddy? And also, guys, we are at 463. Please, can we make 500 likes, everyone? Can we? Come on, let's do it. Now, guys, remember, as I told you, every component will have its own HTML, have its own CSS, and have its own JS, correct? I told you that, right, everyone? Every component will have its own HTML, will have its own CSS, and will have its own JS. Okay? So every component will have it. Even the app component, which is already there. Let me show you. See, guys, here you already have a file called as app.css, app.js. Correct, everyone? So these are the two files related to that component. Now here you don't have HTML files. So technically, only while initially telling you I told you about HTML, actually in React you don't have HTML files. The only HTML file you will ever have is this one, index.html. That's all. So in React, every component has CSS and JS. Okay. Now don't worry about, sir, where does the HTML is going then? I'll tell you that. Don't worry about that. Guys, in React, HTML is also written in JS. Now technically that's not HTML, but right now consider it HTML. So HTML is also written inside JS files only. So you only have CSS and JS. So every component that you create will mostly always have its own CSS and its own JS. And if not CSS, at least it will have its own JS file. So guys, every component is going to be having one JS file. And sometimes that's also not possible. Sometimes you might create two components in a single JS file. Okay. So guys, now before we move ahead to the actual understanding, let me give you one more idea. So see, guys, coding wise, see, theory wise, a component is nothing but part of a UI, like header is a component, this banner is a component, this products area is a component. Correct, everyone? So according to theory logic, component is nothing but a part of our UI. But while creation, guys, when you actually want to create a component in React, a component is nothing but a function, guys, a function returning some HTML. That's all. That's all, guys. A component is nothing but a function returning some HTML, which will give you an output of an HTML thing like header or banner or products. That's it. So let's say, for example, to create this header, you might use divs and all that stuff, right? So you will have a header function, a JavaScript function, which will be returning this thing, div, which will have header and all that stuff. So return div /div and all the HTML code that you might inside, let's say you wanted inside something like li, ul, whatever it is, guys. The base idea, that's the base idea. Okay. So every component is nothing but a function which is returning some HTML. Okay. I hope you're getting the point, guys. Everyone, I really hope you're getting the point. And let me close this window. Yeah. Okay. So that's it, guys. That's it. Okay. So now if you go ahead, here you have an app.css. As I told you guys, you will by default have a component called as app in your PC, which is in your project, which is your main component, and other components you will create by yourself. For now, let me show you the app component. So see, guys, you have app.css, which is your component's CSS file, and then you have app.js. You will open it. You will see, as I told you in the description, it is simply a function named app, which is returning some HTML. Can you see that, guys? Everyone, can you see that? It is simply a function which is returning some HTML, which will generate some output. That's all. So guys, here you don't have HTML files. There is only one HTML file, which is index.html, in which you will not do anything. But you only have a component, which is nothing but a function. See, file name is app.js, component name is app, which is nothing but a function, which is returning some HTML, which will generate some output. So a component, theoretically, it's a part of a UI, part of a web page. Programmatically, it's a function returning some HTML. That's it. It's all done. That means if you want to create a component, you just have to create a JS file. Inside that, a function which will return whatever HTML you want. Whatever you want to generate in the output, a product or a products or an image or a YouTube video or something like that. Just write the HTML for that in that component. That's it. So whatever you will write in a normal HTML file, you have to write in a function component. That's it. Is that clear, guys? All cleared, everyone? So technically it's that. And guys, as I also said, right, that your app component is by default loaded in index.html. Let me show you if it is true or not. And guys, then I'll run the file. Okay. So guys, here you can also see, right, you also have a file called as index.js. Can you see that? Index.js. So if you open it, see, it is mentioned here. See, now guys, don't worry about this big code here. Don't worry, but let me show you. Remember this, guys, you had a div with ID root. Remember that, guys? You had a div with ID root. Document.get element by ID root. Remember this, everyone? In your HTML file, you had a div with ID root. See, so that is the div which we are fetching in this file. Document.get element by ID root. And we are storing it in a variable called as root. And I'm saying by using React's functionalities, don't worry, guys, right now, don't worry about that. Just giving you an idea that by using React's functionalities, I'm telling inside root, that means inside this div, render the app component, which is nothing but your this. So guys, components are called using tags. Okay. So in here, the name of the component is app, APP. When you want to load it somewhere, so just like I told you, right, you will load header component here, you will load banner component here. So when you create the component, you'll create a function, and to use it, you will use it as a tag. So that's what we are doing here. While creating the component, we are giving it a name called as app, and while using it, while loading it somewhere, we are simply using it like a tag, app. So whatever name you give to the function, that is the exact same name you have to use for the tag. And wherever you put that tag, just think that internally, all this HTML which that app component is returning, it's actually getting loaded here. So even if I remove it, you can think it's actually getting loaded here. Like this. Just think like that. But just to make your code simpler, you created a component separately, gave it a name and loaded that component here. But internally think that whatever HTML that component is returning, that code is coming here. Okay. That's it, guys. And since you're loading your app inside root, which is nothing but this root div, that means at the end, all the things from your app component are actually going inside this div. Technically, everything is coming inside this div. So right now, as of now, you know what's happening? Right now, just think that this whole code is coming inside this div. That is what is happening right now. Wait, I didn't copy it. Wait. So technically right now this whole HTML is coming in here like this. So this is your web page actually. This is the web page. But that's how things are working. Okay. So if I have to explain you again, the idea is you have an app component. A component is nothing but a function which is returning some HTML. Correct, guys? A component is nothing but a function returning some HTML, right? That means wherever I use this component, this whole HTML is getting loaded there. So I am loading this component in here, in root.render. And who is root? Root is nothing but the element with the ID root, which is nothing but on your index file, this particular div. That's all. So inside this div, you're loading the app component, and the file responsible for doing that is this index.js, which is from one side getting that div element, from one side it is getting the div element, and from one side it is getting the app component and putting the app component in the div element. That's it. That means putting the app component in index.html. That's it. Is that clear, guys? That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea. So that index.js, this file is responsible for loading this component, app component, inside this particular div. Simple. By getting that div, putting it in a variable, and then inside that div, rendering the app component. Don't worry about this React DOM and all that stuff right now. I'm going to tell you that tomorrow. Don't worry. But guys, you got the idea, everyone? You got the whole idea, guys? Can you please confirm? Got the idea now? So right now, when you run this file, you have only one component called as app component. Okay. And if you run this, this will be your output. So as I told you guys, right? Remember, app component is loaded on HTML file. You got the idea how it is working now? How app component is loaded on HTML? There's a file called as index.js, which takes the div from the HTML file and this whole app component and then loads the app component in that HTML file. So basically taking all this app component thing and putting in the HTML file, it is the job of this index.html. And now we can also create our own components and we have to put them in header. And guys, don't forget, whatever components you create, they are simply functions returning some HTML. And you can also load them. And to load a component, you will use it as a tag. Let me give you more examples. But before that, guys, now let's go and let's run our project and let's see the output. Okay, ready? Let's go. So guys, just open your terminal. So now you know the whole configuration. And guys, you see, there were some extra files as well, like logo.svg, report.vital. There are some testing files. Even if you remove them, doesn't matter. Remove them. But let's keep them. Okay, the only important files here are app.css, app.js, index.css, index.js. That's all. Okay. So if I go and remove them, but I'll remove them, but after some time. First of all, let me run this project. So now guys, open your terminal and just run the command npm start. Remember I told you guys initially that we have a start command. Remember the configuration file, package.json. I told you, right, that we have a start command here. See? So when you run this start command, internally, it is running this command, but we don't have to worry about that. Our job is to only run this command, start. So npm start and enter. Now it will run our project and internally start a server, a React server, a local server. And if you see now, here we go. your project is up and running. It will open a browser window and see guys, this is the output. This is the output of your React project. This whole image, this edit, SRC and all that stuff is coming from where? It's coming from your app.js, your component. See this? See, same thing guys. The image, the logo, which is rotating here, and this edit code, see, edit SRC, see, it's here, edit SRC. Then you have this link, learn React. It's here, learn React. So if I go ahead now and I just take this whole thing, just keep the div and take the other thing, remove it, and just put a simple H1. Okay, I don't know why the shortcut is not working, but let's go. H1. Welcome everyone. And guys, don't worry. Once you save it, the program will auto run and your output will be changed. See, welcome everyone. And see guys, that logo was rotating, right? That means somewhere some animation is written. So if you go to app.css, see, here's the logic of that animation. See? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the CSS which is there. And see, by default, your welcome is in center. See that? Why? Because it is mentioned here. It is mentioned. Inside .app, whatever is there, text align center. And see, your class name is what? Let's close the files that we don't need. Your class name is app. So it is putting in center. So now if I go ahead and just remove all the CSS from here, and you only have simple file like this. Welcome everyone. Very simple, sophisticated file. That's all. And now you can start things from scratch. That's it. And guys, again, you never have to normally visit this HTML file, this index.js. Normally, you never have to visit them. So don't worry about them. Okay. Just wanted to explain a few things. And guys, see, this app.css is only working for app.js. Then you also have something called as index.css, which is like a global CSS. So if you want to write some CSS, which is applied to the whole project at once, you can put it in index.css here. Okay. Okay. And see guys, you might have seen one big difference that in HTML, you write class, but in React, in your HTML, you're writing class name. Why is that? Don't worry. Tomorrow, I'm going to explain you that. Why do we write class name? Because guys, see, this thing here that you see, it looks like HTML, works like HTML, but it is not HTML. It is not at all HTML. Is that clear, guys? So it is something called as JSX, but it looks and works exactly like HTML. Don't worry, I'm going to be telling you tomorrow what is JSX and why do we have it here. But guys, normally think of it like HTML only. Then it will be easier for you. HTML. But just replace class with class name. Don't use class. Use class name. Everything else is fine. Just use class name instead of class. That's all. Now guys, finally, we can go ahead and see. Now, we are no longer using that logo, right? So you can remove that file. Let's remove the extra files that we don't need. Remove the logo file. We don't need that. Yes. Remove the setup test. We don't need it. Remove this testing file. We don't need it. And remove this report web vitals as well. Right now, we don't need it. And guys, this is how your file should look like. And guys, one more thing. If you remove the report web vitals, please don't forget from here also remove the function that is calling it, because it was coming from that file only, and remove the import as well. And now guys, this is your basic code. Now it looks much more simpler, right? App components having its own CSS, own JS. Index.js is a file which loads app component into index.html. And then you have index.css, like a global CSS for your whole project. And that's it, guys. This is the basic setup. That's it. Now let me show you how to create your own component. As I told you guys, your own component will be nothing but a function returning some HTML. Let me show you. The final thing for today is I'm showing you how to create your own component. Okay. Just go in SRC. Okay. Right click. Go in SRC and create a new file. Call it whatever you want. Let's say we call it as header. Now guys, see, you can name it in lowercase, but it's something that we follow in React. We go ahead and always name our component with capital letters in the start and then camel casing, so that it's easier for us to understand. So start with capital letter and then follow camel casing. Simple logic. Okay. Every other word should start with capital. So header.js, let's say header.js. Simple. And as I said, guys, a component is nothing but a function which is simply going to have same name as file. Guys, try to always give it same name as file, please, so that it is understandable easily what is the name of the component. So header, and as I said, a component will simply return some HTML. So return some HTML. So let's say, something like a div for now. Return a div with, let's say, hello, I am header. And now guys, we are done with the component, but you can see we have some error. Okay, I removed okay, see guys, the error is can't resolve what is logo.svg. Why? Because we deleted the logo file, but in our app.js, we are still importing it. That's why. So remove that, please. Okay, and now you'll see the error is gone. But now see guys, I have created the header component. It is also having some HTML, but I can't see it in the output. Why? As I told you guys, whatever components you create, directly or indirectly, they should be loaded in app.js or app component. Then only you can see it. Because see guys, whatever goes on index.html, that is only visible to you. And on index.html, app component is loaded. So whatever components you create, please load them on app component. Otherwise, you can't see them. So guys, to load it, first thing you have to do is, this is a component, a function returning some HTML. The first thing you have to do is export this component. So export default, that's how you export something in JavaScript so that it can be used in different files. So export default and the component name, header. So export default header. That means now anyone who imports this file, they can use this function in that file. So please export, because if you can't export, you can't be using it in the other file. Now go in your app file, which is your app component, and import that header there. So import header, the name of your component. Okay, header from ./header, which is nothing but what? The file name. Guys, you don't have to put .js because React knows it's going to be a JS file. So import header, which is nothing but guys what? The component name, and from this file. So import header component from header.js, and that's it guys. Now as I told you, just use it like a tag. Just use it like a tag. Use your component like a tag. And guys, yeah, this is the last thing for today. And that's it guys. Use it wherever you want in your code. And that's it guys. So now you have imported the header component on app component and you have used it in that app component. That means wherever you put this component internally, you're putting this HTML which that component is returning, and that's it. Now if you run this file, you will see hello, I'm a header as well. See that guys? Hopefully you can see it everyone. That's all. So you can create n number of components and put all of them together one by one to create a complete web page. Is that clear guys? No. Guys, while exporting your function, no need to put this. Okay, that's why see, the app component is also getting exported. Why? Because in index.js, it is getting imported so that it can be used here. Just like that, our header component you also have to export so that you can use it here. And that's it guys, everyone, that's all. That's how you create your own component. A function which returns HTML guys. If you will just remember this, you'll never be confused. Practically, piece of a UI. Coding wise, function returns some HTML. That's it. That's all. Don't make it complicated. It is not complicated at all. Yes, so if you want to export something anywhere, if you want to import something anywhere, you have to export it. Without exporting, you can't import. Okay, that's how it works. So guys, are we clear here everyone? So that was the introduction to React, and now I hope you know everything about the basic folder structure, the basic files that you have here, what is component, and how to create a very basic component. And now in tomorrow's session, we'll talk more about components. Then we'll move ahead and talk about props and states and everything that comes from now on. And we'll create some beautiful components as well. Don't worry. Yes, and also about JSX. Tomorrow we'll talk about JSX. Right now, guys, please think of it like HTML. But as I said, just in your heart, remember that this is not HTML. It looks like HTML, works like HTML, behaves like HTML, but it is not HTML. So please don't forget. I'm going to be telling you everything about that. So tomorrow's day is also very important. So guys, I hope that you will be joining tomorrow as well. Please let me know that in the chat as well. And keep all your doubts because I'm going to be solving that tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll talk about JSX. I'll tell you what Babel is because I think a lot of people are asking, right? What exactly is Babel? Then we'll talk about props, some more components, and then state if we get time. So we have a lot of things to talk about tomorrow. And guys, if you get any errors while installing anything or doing anything, please put in the comments of this video once the live stream ends. I'll solve that for you. Don't worry. Okay. After deleting, I think it might be the web vitals file, Herschel. So please, if you have deleted all the files from your app.js, also remove the logo import. Okay, in your app.js, you might be having a logo import, and in your index.js, you might have report web vitals import. Please remove them as well. Okay. So guys, that's it everyone. That's it for today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please like the video if you have enjoyed it. Please, let's see if we can reach 600 guys. We are already at 530. Let's see if we can reach 600. Okay, let's see. So please like it guys, and also please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow when we talk about more things. And if we get time guys, don't worry, I'll also teach you about class-based components. Okay. So yep guys, everyone, thank you so much. Tomorrow also exact same time, 6:30. Okay, 6:30 as well. No assignments for today guys, as this was a warm-up, and I hope that now you have got warmed up. So tomorrow I'll see you. Okay, when we'll be talking about more. Okay. So guys, yep, that's all. Thank you so much everyone. I'm not getting the header component. Can you please show it again? Yeah, you can see it here. That's how you created header, function, name, return something, some whatever element, simple element you want. Then export it, export default the function name. And then in app.js, just import it. Import header. Guys, tomorrow we'll also talk more about export and import. Don't worry. So import whatever you're exporting, header, see, import header from the file name, and then use it like a tag. That's it. Tomorrow 6:30 guys. Okay. Thank you so much everyone. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye. Good night. Thank you so much everyone. Bye.